The biggest thing that they need to start doing out the gate is how they start their day. I wake up each morning at 5 a.m., but I actually don't look at my phone or work till at 9. So that gives me 4 hours in the morning to make sure that I'm taking care of myself. You forget that the most important part of every venture is you. You're the reason why that venture is going to be successful and why it's going to keep on pushing forward. So, these guys you'll see all the time, they're working out and they're working till midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. No one else is up during those time frames. Why are you going to spend that time working and trying to make connections when your time is better served to be able to start it off early in the morning, get your mind right, get yourself right. Take some time out with your family, friends if they're up, like myself in the morning. I spend some time with my children. I spend some time with my wife. I make sure that I do my meditation. I go to the gym for an hour. I do journaling. I read. I make sure that I'm priming myself for what's going to be a busy day, giving me the energy I need to be able to move on towards and keep following throughout the day. Does that make sense?
No, I think it makes good sense, and I think doing it early morning is, I think, the differentiator, because a lot of people try to shut off at 5, and it's still 2 o'clock in California.
Yeah,
So it's
exactly. I mean, you got world time schedules now. We're all online these days. I mean, you know, people could be working at any part during the day. I mean, but you can't just shut off at a specific time in the day. You just got to make that choice of how you start your day first to be able to get in all the important parts of making yourself right and your mind right before you start your day, and making sure that you're just stoked to be able to get into work. People will wake up, and I mean, I'll talk to people, man. It's the first thing they do is they reach for their phone. Well, you just set precedents for the rest of the day that all outside, entities are more important than you. Oh, let me check Facebook. Let me check Instagram. Let me check Twitter. Let me see what's going on. If you've been sleeping for this long, does it really matter? Let me see what emails came in. I'm sure they can wait a little bit longer, for a couple hours, to allow yourself to be able to try and get physically fit. Try to build a couple of relationships in the morning. Be able to reach out to people. I mean, it's as easy as, if you think about someone, as a mentor of mine, Jesse Elder, taught me. It's like, man, if someone crosses your mind, take out your phone, record a message, and send it to them. It doesn't matter what day it is. You don't have to call them right then, but send them a visit. Hey, I've been thinking about you. Just want to let you know. I didn't want another hour to go by before I at least reached out and said, what's up?
No, I completely agree with you. I think there's a lot of disconnect because of all the connections that social and the internet and everything else allows people to kind of make, right? They
Right.
disconnect from people and they connect with information, which is kind of pointless. But so let's talk a little bit about doing so many things at once. We kind of talked pre-interview about just the idea of having so many ventures. And I know
Right.
you told me you didn't start every one of them at the same time. But,
No.
we get asked this question all the time at Secret Entourage. People ask me, and they ask everybody in our academy, they're like, hey, do you guys recommend starting one venture or starting 10 and seeing one that grabs and then kind of following that one? And so what's your take, since you've done so many things at once successfully, and you still continue to kind of get involved in many things? What is your take on being kind of a multi-entrepreneur at the same time?
It's about being able to outsource. As entrepreneurs, we try and wear so many hats to be able to take on so much different responsibility in getting that business going. I just, right before our interview, I left a meeting and I was talking to a couple, because they were looking for me to be able to invest in their company, which it could be another venture that I get into in the childcare space. So we'll see. But he was telling me, he's like, man, I'm trying to be able to, I said, what's stopping you? Well, I'm still trying to, build my website. I said, wait a minute, you're still trying to build your website? He goes, well, yeah, I've got the software that's going in, and, I'm using it. I said, how long have you been working on this website? He goes, man, it's been a long time. I said, what do you feel your hourly value is? Because he's wanting to get into coaching as well. And we just discussed that, at minimum, he needs to value his time at minimum at $150 an hour. I said, well, if you take a week's worth of work at $150 an hour, you're telling me you couldn't hire someone for half that price to be able to build a website out for you and allow you to be able to do what you do best? He's like, well, I never thought about it that way. And I said, that's where most entrepreneurs forget. They forget to value their time at the right level. and to be able to figure out where they need to be spending their time on. Where me, I don't, on the day to day stuff, I partner with people as well with most of my companies to be able to put them in that CEO role and allow them to be able to take on the different daily responsibilities where I'm looking to be able to see where the company's going and where it can go. I have a CFO that handles all the accounting side. I have a CTO that Sean Jones that I wouldn't be here without him because he understands that IT aspect. I can't run all these different companies. I make sure I keep them on the guided path and I do what I do well, and that's working with people, being able to see that their vision and be able to help monetize that and take it to the next level.
So ultimately, what you're saying is your investment isn't in companies; it's in people.
It is, and that's where I really work well in investing in people and being able to find the right person to be able to help them take their skills to the next level and having the understanding of saying no. I can't do this. This is what I do well. You let me find someone that's going to do this well for you. And outsourcing. When I first started, we had a tremendous amount of employees. I actually have more companies and less employees now because I outsource so well.
But building a team usually comes with experience. Like in due time, you meet people, you kind of
Right.
leverage people, you see their work, and over time, by your fourth and fifth company, you kind of have different people that are great at what they do that you can put in play across the board, right? And even
Of
leverage
course.
them across 7, 10 companies.
And that's how my companies work right now is, again, we use the same accounting people, we use the same IT staff to be able to manage the basic back ends for these
Right.
companies.
So when you are new, however, when you have a younger person who's between like 17 to 20 and he's like, "Hey, I'm going to start my first company." You may not have that leverage. So do you still recommend someone to kind of be able to get involved in multiple companies at once, or would you still
I
today say
honestly, I
focus
don't.
on one?
I don't. I mean, again, I focused on one company in the beginning, which was the pay-per-click advertising space. I made sure that that was a very vetted company. I had a strong revenue that allowed me to support my other ventures that I wanted to be able to do. It's You really do want to put your time and effort when you're first starting out into one specific goal. Find out what defines you, what makes you do what you do and wake up every day and want to keep doing that. And you don't always have to reinvent the wheel. I mean, it can be a 1 degree shift of what someone else is doing. Follow their pattern. I mean, that's why we have coaches and mentors these days to be able to help understand what people did right and what they did wrong and then help us down our path in a faster sense.